let's create a new process for new topic or new chapter.
Okay.
Chapter 3, collections and loops. Fine. Again, we got a new process. Can you allow me like 5 seconds, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, sorry. It was bit. You there? Sam, are you there? Your microphone is muted.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, fine. Let's start. Collections and loop. So we have discussed calculation and the decision stage, isn't it? Suppose we have a flow. I'm taking only these two stages because we have discussed only these two. We have a flow. So right now we have only two stages. In real time, it could be 50 or 500 stages, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to perform multiple iteration on this logic. I want to execute this logic 5 times or 50 times. That number of time, the value which we will mention in this data item. If I mention 5, it should execute 5 times. If I mention 500, it should execute that number of time. Okay. So this logic should execute this much of time. For that, example is pretty simple, but how we are doing in this in Blue Prism, that we are seeing. Okay, all the example I'm taking very basic example so that you don't confuse with the example. Okay, fine. For that, I'm taking one more data item, and let us call that as count. It should be a number type and initialize it with 0. So what we'll do, we'll start with this count and keep on incrementing this count until unless this count become equal to max count. Okay, as simple as that. So in this calculation, we will increment the count, just adding 1 to the count. Fine. So we have to store the value in the count only, isn't it? Initially,
Yes.
count is 0, 0 plus 1, 1 got stored in count. Next time, 1 plus
Next
1,
time
2.
1
Fine.
plus.
And here, what we'll do in the decision, we increment count by 1 and we'll check whether it become equal to max count or not.
Max.
If it is equal to max count, it means it has executed 5 times. So we'll send to end.
Link to
But
end.
definitely for the first 4 times, it is not equal to max count. So what we have to do?
Send it to increment.
Send it back. No will go to increment count. So this logic is perfectly fine. Technically, there is no issue. It will run for 5 times. But here, this graphical look very cumbersome. One arrow is going downward, one is upward, and there seems a head-on collision, isn't it? So for the sake of simplicity, what we'll do, we'll use this smallest stage available called anchor stage. Anchor stage don't have there any technical functionality. They are used to provide turns in your logic. Still, no is going toward the increment count, but via this route. So it is neat and clean and not confusing. Okay, let us see. So execute. So increment count is 1 now, 1 is not equal to 5, it go to no direction. Now it is 2, again no. 3, 3 again no. It go to yes side only when it equal to 5 times. 5. Now 5, condition satisfied, it go to yes side. This is called circular path exercise. It is possible only with the help of decision, because decision is giving two outbound. One outbound we send in forward direction and one in the backward direction. Okay,
Yes.
this is fine. This is kind of a manual loop. Okay, this is not our main topic of this chapter. Our chapter name is, I just mentioned the chapter name is collection and loop. Collection and loop. These are the main topics to discuss in this chapter. Okay. And before jumping to this main topic, let us discuss few operations or functionality given by the Blue Prism. We execute this at some speed. We execute this and it run at some speed. You can switch that speed. You can change that speed. This
Fast.
drop down, you can put it anywhere. Okay. If you put it slow, are you able to find the difference in the speed?
Yes.
In case no, definitely you will find the difference when we change the speed to fastest option available. Okay. So let us make it fast. And for fast, keep it at least 20.
Otherwise, we won't notice.
Yes.
Got it.
Fine. And see, this speed is only while your design time or development time. Your actual robot, when actual robot execute, you don't have control on that speed, and that speed is approx 10 times than this fast option.
Okay.
Okay, and we have no control on that speed. Fine.
Yes.
Your live project or live bot or live process would not be running from here. This is your development area. Okay, this is your studio. Your live project would be running from control room. That we'll discuss in next chapter. Okay,
Okay.
but yeah,
Control. Yeah.
fine.
This is like the testing phase, right? We
This is
develop and then
designing time. Like when you write the code, you write the like whatever functions. You don't show to your client your functions. You just give them exe
yes.
file, isn't it? So we
Yes.
give
Yes.
client the release file. They just execute that release file from control room. That's it. Okay, fine. And we know when we let us keep it back to for your development task. Keep it like normal or somewhere here. Okay,
Okay.
or whatever you're comfortable with. Okay. So when we start, we know that it always going to start from start stage and it will stop only when it reaches to end stage, isn't it? But suppose
Yes.
we have 100 stages. Okay. Suppose up to here we have 50 stages, and this is our 51st stage. First 50 stages we have executed and they are running fine. Now we have written some new logic and we want to test only the new logic. Why would we waste our time in executing those first 50 stages again? Isn't it?
Sorry.
Okay. The topic is when we click this run, it is always going to start from start stage, isn't it?
Yes.
But suppose we want to start from somewhere in the midway. Okay. For
Okay.
that, just right click on that stage from where you want to start and click set next stage. Means making this stage as a next stage to be executed. So now if you click this run button or go button, the flow will start executing from here and not from start stage. Clear?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
And this set next stage will have its real use when we deal with multiple pages. Okay, in next section only we'll deal with multiple pages. Fine, just remember this. This is set next stages. How to start from a specific point. There is another thing. You already know that thing. Break point. If you want to pause at some specific location, at some specific area. Suppose I want to stop here while execution, or pause here, you can put a break point. So your execution will stop there or pause there. It will not go further. Let us execute this. It reaches here and at the top it shows pause. And we got a pop-up message, a breakpoint reach, and condition is there is no condition. And this is unconditional breakpoint. You can give the condition also. If you want to go
Like
further,
what
you have, sorry,
condition? Like what type of condition you'll put
let,
over here?
let me let me complete this, then I'll show you the conditional one.
Okay.
So to continue, you have to close that pop-up and you have to click run again. It will start from there itself. And again, it will
Okay.
stop because we have not removed the break. Fine.
Okay.
Reset. And to remove breakpoint, just simply uncheck this. This was the unconditional breakpoint. Okay, without condition, it will going to stop there wherever you have put the breakpoint. Now, conditional, suppose we want to stop at some condition when count is 3 or count is 4. Okay, like that.
Okay.
For that, right click on this. Can you see that? Set breakpoint
Yeah.
condition, it is disabled or grayed out. It will only enable
Because no.
when we have breakpoint in place. Okay, so first put the
Yeah.
breakpoint, then only it get enabled. Set breakpoint
Yes.
condition. We should also read this expression like decision expression, like we're asking question.
Okay.
Suppose we want to break when count is 3. Whether
Okay.
count equals to 3, if 3, then break. Can you see
Yes.
this fx? It means
Yeah.
condition is there in place. Now it will not stop here every time, only when count is 3. Clear? And this time we got
Yeah.
this condition.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. Let us remove this. Now we're going to start our main topic, collections and loop. Sanya, we discussed this data item. This data item is of number type and it has the value 5. So data item can store only single value of single type. If it is a number value, we can have some number. It could be like single digit or multiple digit number, but only one value. If it is a text type, we can have some name or some string. If it is a flag, we can have true or false. So data item can used only to store single value of single type, isn't it?
Yes.
In that case, how to handle data which is we have in database, like in the form of rows and column, or we have in Excel or Access, or might be on some website we have tabular data. Definitely, this data item cannot handle that data.
Yes.
For that, we have a dedicated stage called collection. Okay, you can take a reference from your array, but not exactly that thing. I'm creating a new page, collection and fine. Let's take data collection. And before seeing the property of this collection, let me show you the property of data item one more time. Name is fine. We have name everywhere. We have something called initial value and something called current value. And current value is by default or at the development time, it is disabled. Okay.
Yes.
And we have these two checkbox. We have not discussed, just see that we have two checkbox. Hide from other pages or reset to digital value. So collection is similar to data item, 80%. We have initial value, we have current value, and it is disabled, and we have those two checkbox here also. Fine.
Okay.
So collection you can suppose as a plural of data item. Data item are used to store single value of single type. So collection are used to store multiple value of multiple type. Okay, in the form of
Okay.
rows and columns. So here's something new is called field. So I guess you know that in DBMS, collection columns are also called as field, entity and field.
Yeah.
So fields are simply columns. You can have n number of column, as many as you want, just by clicking on this add field button. Okay.
Okay.
So let us create fields or columns. So my motive is to create all the columns of different type. So name would be of text type. Let's create one of number type. In number type, you can have course fee or whatever. Let's take one of date type. In date type, we can have date of birth or date of joining. That makes more sense. Let's take one of flag type. Can you suggest some name for flag?
Um. Paid. No.
Paid. Okay, that work.
Uh,
That would be more like specific. That's like a regular, okay, whether we're regular or not.
yeah.
Okay. Name it as first collection or source collection, whatever. Fine. Okay, it is empty right now. We have these fields. We have this column. Now we have to give data. We have to create a rows in those column. Okay. For that, come to initial value. It is all blank. So click on add rows to add rows. You can have n number of rows, as many as you want. Okay. Can you see that? Those fields
Yeah.
are now showing as column header. Text,
Yes.
number, date, blank. See multiple type, one type, two type, third type, fourth type, and multiple data. It could be 100 row, it could be 100,000 row. Okay. Let's create our first collection. Just suppose $100 and date of joining. Let's take anything. I'll take one as true, one as false. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. True, false. $300. True, false, true. Fine. Our data has been created. Okay, so we have added 5 rows in this collection. So 4 columns and 5 rows. Okay,
Okay.
so collection has been created. If you take the default collection, the default naming convention is call one, call two, call three, and it shows empty. Our collection is showing the name which we have given first collection, and it's showing 5 row. Okay, the name number of row, not the column.
Okay.
So the requirement is what, Samya? So suppose we have to add all this course fee. We have to find the sum of all this course fee. So
Okay.
we have to take one data item of number type because it is of number type. In that data item, our ultimate answer would be sum of all this value: 100 plus 200, 300, 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4, 1000, 1500 should be our ultimate answer. Fine.
Okay.
The issue is that definitely we have to use the calculation, but the data is not at one place. Data is in different rows. So we need some sort of loop, isn't it?
Yes.
For that, we have a dedicated stage, loop stage, which work on the rows of collection. So loop stage only work on the rows of collection. Without collection, loop stage have no use. One thing.
Okay.
Loop stage, definitely as we discussed, every stage have its unique technical functionality. That's fine. But loop stage is unique in one more sense. As decision was unique in one more sense, it gave 2 outbound. It is also unique in one more sense. When we drag and drop this, it comes in pair. Loop start, loop end. It comes in 2 parts. Okay. If I show you the property of loop end, there is no property. Okay, this default thing. In
Yeah.
loop start, it asks only one thing, that on which collection I have to work. So open this drop down, and here it will show a list of all the collection you have on your page or in your process. But we have, because only one collection, so it is showing that. Okay,
Okay.
so that's fine. So click OK. Now for addition, definitely we have to take the collection, this calculation. You remember what was the syntax for mentioning data item in expression?
In square bracket, right?
Square brackets. So now
Yeah.
we have to work with the fields of collection. Okay, fields of collection. These are the fields. Okay, and we have to refer this course fee. We are working with this.
Yeah.
So we have to use the same rule. Everything should be in square brackets. But here we have to use one more rule. We have to use dot notation. Dot decimal notation. Collection name.
Course fee dot.
Yeah, collection name dot field name.
Okay.
So our collection name is first collection, and which field we are referring? We are referring this field. So first collection dot course fee, and that all would be inside square brackets. Fine. Let us see.
Yeah.
So square brackets, collection name, first collection dot. It
You
should be
cannot drag from for collections here, right?
yeah. I'm coming to that point only. Fine.
Eh,
Sorry. But again, BP has made our task easy. Neither we have to bother this square bracket, neither this dot notation. Just take everything. Collection is showing something. If you expand this, our collection is showing here. Expand your collection. All the fields automatically showing within with this decimal notation. Okay, collection name dot field. So whichever field you require, simply drag and drop that field. So neither we have to bother dot, neither this square brackets automatically, and it also saves us from typing mistake, isn't it?
Yes.
And okay, we have to store the value in some data item. Let's create that data item. Calculate. Let's create one data item. We have number type. Initialize it with 0. And result. Did you get this expression? See, when loop stage start iterating, it starts from the first row of the collection. First of all, it has the first row data. So in the first row, we have 100 in the course fee. 100 plus 0. Total fees is initially 0. Okay. So 100 plus 0, 100. 100 got stored in total fees. Next time in the second row, we have 200. And here we have 100 from previous execution. 200 plus 100, 300. So we got 300 here in this total fees. Next time here we have 300. Here also 300. We got 600.
Yes.
So like this, here we keep on getting the answer row by row. Okay. So it is done. Let me ask you a very basic question: how to execute this process?
Start loop and
How to run this process? I
from
guess.
the play.
Shall I click this?
Yeah, you can reset it and start.
Let me reset and click start.
But
It
there's
go to
error.
main page.
Yes. We have to link it.
You remember I used the word main page is at
Yes.
top hierarchy.
Yes,
This is
yes,
I mean.
yes.
If you have 100 pages and you are at the 100th page, and if you directly click this go button, it will always going to start from start of main page. Process
Yes.
are expected to be start from start of main page and end at the end stage of main page. But definitely we don't want to see this logic again. Okay, we have checked this logic. We directly want to start from this logic. So we have learned something for that. Remember,
Yes, page.
set next stage and click go. See the work of loop stage.
Yes.
It keep on sending flow back to this for all the rows. See one more time. So it start from loop stage. It come to first row. We got the answer 100. Then it come to loop end. Loop end will check whether next row exists or not. If next row doesn't exist, because this data we have created manually. We know there are
Yes.
5 rows. In real time, we won't create this data manually. This data will come from some source, from database, website, Excel, whatever. There could be single row, there could be 100,000 row, doesn't matter. So loop and will check whether next row exists or not. If next row doesn't exist, it send the flow to the end stage. Otherwise, it send the flow back to the first stage after loop start to execute the second row. And it will keep on sending the flow back and forth until and unless all the row has been processed, and finally it send the flow to the end stage. Let us see. You have to focus on 2 or 3 items. First of all, you have to keep on checking this thing. Its value will be here. We get the answer row by row. First 100, then 300, then 600. And this by default collection is resting on its first row. This row number will keep on changing as the loop is iterating on the collection. Let us see.
Okay.
We got 100, second row, a third row, a fourth row. All the row process, it will send the flow to the end stage.
Yes.
Clear?
Yep.
If it is clear, in that case, I do have one doubt. If you see something, ask something. At the top, it shows failed. We got some pop-up message. I just execute 2 or 3 times. Some error message came. I quietly closed that error message, but you didn't ask that question.
Yes. I thought it's like showing end of the.
No, let me execute in full flow. Some speed is less. End of subject without corresponding star.
Yes.
You can ignore this message for the time being because it is because we have not started the flow from start of main page. That's why we are getting this error. Whenever you start from midway and not from main page, it will throw you this error. Okay, end of subject without corresponding. But later on, we'll create the flow. We'll call this page from main page. At that time, we won't see that error. Fine.
Okay.
One second.
Yeah.
Actually, I do have one more call from 12 p.m. It's fine. So a quick homework for you, Samya.
Yeah.
We have this collection and we have found this total. Now this is we have so create a collection. At least have 5 row, not less than that. Okay, it's not that you create 1 or 2 row. So have at least 5 row, and you have to find earliest date. So create one data item of date type. In that, the ultimate answer should be your earliest date. So here it is February, 11th of February. So this should be our ultimate answer.